Hi everyone! So today's video is all about how we create our podcasts. So it's sort of a behind the scenes tour on how the podcasts are made. So keep watching if you're interested. So the first thing we have to do is to select a topic. We keep all our podcast topic ideas on a website called monday.com. Basically, every time we get an idea for a podcast, we can just very easily add it onto this list so that we don't forget. We try to pick topics based on what interests us, like what's going on in our community or around the world. The next podcast that we are going to be doing, I'm just going to pick this topic right here, solo classical pedal harp. Once we've selected a topic for the podcast, what we need to do is to basically write the script. So what will actually be said and what music will be played on the podcast.
Hello patrons. Alright, so Eliza's written the script for this podcast, and the next part of the process is just driving to a radio station called RTR-FM. You might know that I broadcast a show on community radio station RTR-FM called Pluck Strings, and one of the perks of being a member at RTR is that you can book their studios and use some of the really good quality microphones and radio broadcast quality equipment. So generally we go there to do the recording of the podcast. So we're on our way, and we'll update you a little bit more when we arrive. Hello patrons, so after our 20-minute drive we've arrived at the RTR-FM studios where we do the recording of the podcast. This is just a little edit booth. Liza, you can just show them around.
It's very tiny.
The smaller space, there's actually a much larger area, staff room, and then the two main studios that broadcast live all the radio programs that RTR-FM offer. But we're in the edit booth today, where the news is done and also where you can pre-record your shows, book the space. And
that's what we're doing.
We're about to get started recording, yeah. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Elder Music Studios. Oh, it's not recording. Stage now. I'm in my studio and just putting together all the dialogue we recorded, so that involves, lining up the tracks, cutting and pasting, very similar to what you would do in like Photoshop or even a Word document. You're just cutting out bits of audio, sticking it together and making sure it all works.
Cool. Show us what it sounds like.
Alright, well I've edited together the first little bit so far. Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Pluck Strings here on RTR-FM 92.1 with Darren. And today's episode is all about the history and repertoire of this fabulous and mysterious instrument that is the pedal harp. There we go.
Awesome. Hello patrons. Okay, so Darren has finished editing the track. So now what we need to do is to turn the audio track into a video so that we can post it on YouTube. I will be doing that by finding photos of the artists that are featured on the podcast, pictures of the composers as well, and resizing the images and lining them up with each track. So that's going to take a little bit of time. Now that the video is done, the final step is to upload the podcast onto different platforms, which is a lot more complicated than it sounds. So we post the video onto YouTube, then we also have to create like a little snippet of the podcast so that we can post on Instagram and Facebook. Then we also upload the actual audio track onto a website called DistroKid, which actually distributes the podcast onto all sorts of different streaming platforms, including Spotify and iTunes and all of that. So it's available there as well. So that actually takes quite a lot of time uploading the video, but that's it. That's the final step, and after that we can just relax and get started on the next podcast. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know how you found it. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas for future podcasts, we would love to hear from you. All right, bye.